Hey guys, what's up? This is Phil from VR Story. Thank you guys for stopping by and checking out the channel. And this is a quick tutorial on cleaning out the joystick over here for the Oculus Quest 2. As you can see, there's not a lot of things that you actually need. And part of the reason why I'm making this video is that I actually did run into an issue where I was having quite a bit of controller drift, and that prevented me from playing several games, or made it very difficult to, because there was quite a bit of drift. So recently, about a month and a half ago, I actually did fix it with this method that I got from the iFixit website, which I'll have a link in the description below. But I do want to point out that this is a very easy setup, and one of the things that I also need to kind of bear in mind, you do this at your own risk, but I can say that it does work, and one of the things that you do have to have is patience. So with that being said, as you can see here, I have the 70% isopropyl alcohol, which I'm not going to dab into the controller. I'm actually just have it here for display actually, but as you can see, it is 70%, but it's recommended to go to 90%. I can say just from personal experience that it does work. So if you are feeling like you're pressed for time and you're very eager to get back into the virtual space, can use 70% alcohol. Keep in mind also that I've only done this once, and I'm going to be taking this apart without adding the alcohol, because my controller is already fixed, as I described earlier, that I was able to repair it. So the first thing, as you can see, is that we do have the isopropyl alcohol, and then for here I have the multi-tool. But I would also recommend to get a tool that's more specific for fixing these types of things. If you do have a multi-tool or any other thing that can kind of wedge open this casing here, then I would say do that. That would be highly recommended. However, for this instance, I'm just going to use the multi-tool. And keep in mind, I have not also done this before with the multi-tool and recording it. So I'm really just doing this from one take. So the first step that you want to do, make sure that there's no power. Luckily, my fingernails are long enough, so you want to remove the battery. Okay? So as you can see, now that the battery is removed, there's a seam here from both portions of the plastic that you want to peel through, and there's an adhesive underneath. So we're going to move this out of the way. We're going to get my knife from my multi-tool here that I've had for several years now. So we're going to just move that there and move this one out. Okay. Now you want to be very careful when you wedge this out, right? So get to the edge, and like I said, you want to use a multi-tool, but as you can see, you use a tool that's appropriate for this type of thing. And as you can see from the wedge over there, as I peel this open, and it comes off fairly easy. It'll be a little bit more difficult for the first time because of the adhesive. Once you have enough space, you can do this by hand and do it kind of carefully, kind of go around. Again, I'm doing this in one take, so if I do mess up somehow, that's going to show in the video. Anyway, looks like we have this taken out, and again, the first time usually will make the adhesive very sticky, whereas in this case it's not, and I just pried that out. So a quick view of the casing or the cover, and it's both for aesthetics and obviously to maintain cleanliness and things like that, right? So if we look at the controller, can't really see it from there, but that's where the holes are separated. That's where the holes are for the buttons and the joypad, as you can see. And then you want to be careful of the springs. Now there's also a spring underneath the controller, right? And what you want to do is you want to carefully pull this out. Now I used a toothpick to kind of wipe it down. There wasn't actually any dust or anything, but there you see there's the spring, and then you have the button for the controller there, and someone's calling me on the phone, but I'm not going to pick it up. So keep in mind too, as you can see, that the controller has some straight edges there that you want to kind of line up for the controller. And let me just show you what I use to kind of clean up the interior of this hole here. Now this isn't necessarily the most appropriate tool, but it worked for me because this is what I had at the house. Anyway, so this is actually floss, and you can use that to kind of clean out the interior. You know, if you happen to have a little bit of dust, one of the things I like about these types of floss is that, one, you can obviously clean your teeth with it, but on top of that, it also has this very pointy edge that allows you to use it for other things. And I have used this to clean the controller and the joystick. So as I pull that out, right, you can poke in there, clean it out like so. And then you can also do that for if you do have, you know, some debris that's collected inside the controller portion. Now, at some point, right, when you're cleaning, you do want to add some alcohol into this area, if you can see that. I'm going to put it closer towards the camera, right, where the spring is. And you don't want to lose the spring, and sometimes that might pop out if you remove the joystick. And once you have the alcohol in there, you want to move the controller around quite a bit, right, until the alcohol has spread out. And what I did was I actually shaked out some of it, because sometimes you actually might put too much alcohol in there. But once you do, it's pretty much all said and done. You're gonna have residual alcohol inside the controller, and don't be the fool that I was, because I wanted to play, like I'm sure most of you would want to do as well. When you do reinstall everything, you do want to wait at least, I would say, an hour or two before restarting the controller again, because there were moments for about 15-20 minutes or so when I did reinstall everything and didn't allow the alcohol to dry, that forced the controller to not work. So kind of keep that in mind, right, as you reinstall everything, right? So just kind of press that in, and obviously the joystick as well is a button. So we got the cover here, just line it up with the holes that it's supposed to, and keep in mind, right, there's some locks in there that will connect to the existing holes. So what you want to do is just line that up, right, push it in. It's a little bit forcefully. And as you can see, once it's lined up, sometimes it clicks, sometimes it doesn't, but otherwise that is all set up. Controller is movable, it's clean, everything's flush. And then from there, don't put the battery until everything is dry, right? Like I said, I would wait a few hours, maybe even a day, but just keep moving the controller until everything's settled in. And then after that, so I won't put in the battery, I'll just install this in for now, just as for demonstration purposes. But otherwise, you close it up and you're good to go. There's not much else. So hopefully that helps you guys, for anyone that's having controller drift. This is a temporary solution from my understanding, and I haven't had any issues since I repaired or quick cleaned my joystick controller, and it's been working really well ever since then. So that's a temporary solution before ever initiating kind of replacing the joystick itself, where some of the components might wear out over time. However, if you are experiencing controller drift, this may be a solution for you to do. It's a very quick DIY, and then on top of that, just kind of show you guys without actually making any major, you know, edits to the video, other than taking, you know, from the time that I took to grab the floss here, this type of floss. And this is a type of floss that I typically use. Part of the reason for that is because, one, you get the pick, which is good for cleaning out edges and things like that that might be difficult to get to. But on top of that, you get this the string over here to be able to floss. But again, you know, simple household tools. I think the one that's probably the most difficult to have or to get is the multi-tool. But this is something that I have like 3 or 4 of these, not specifically this brand, this is Gerber. Always good to have one of these, especially if you're doing repairs or things like that, that it can be useful for something like taking apart the casing, this cover over here, for your controller, just in case you actually have some drift issues that you want to fix that actually might repair it. So that's it, guys. Thank you very much for stopping by and checking out this video. Looking forward to making more videos for you, so make sure that you guys are able to play your VR experiences. And you guys don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Thank you guys very much.